Hare Krishna. My birth name is Rafael Enrique Calderon Toledo. I am from Venezuela, South America. I first met the devotees in 1989 in Venezuela, my country. But I had heard the Maha Mantra before. Actually, I get to know the Maha Mantra through the song of George Harrison, My Sweet Lord, because I am a musician, so I had my band, and actually we were playing this song and we were chanting and we didn't know. I met the devotees and then I understood, and then I started chanting them. Yes, of course, because first of all, I already, and then I knew what I was singing, you know. Before I thought it was just some, you know, there's so many songs that they have parts that they don't mean anything, like la la la, yeah, yeah. So I thought it was, you know, something like that. But now, you know, this had meaning, and it was, wow, the meaning was so important. But now, my life changed completely, actually. Yeah. I was a young guy, 19 years old, and what you learn is, it's like, okay, and especially you're a musician, so everybody's drinking, everybody's partying, everybody's smoking, so I was just doing the same thing. And then at some point I just lost the taste for all these things. I listened to classical music. I mean, nobody could believe it. I myself could not believe it. But yeah, it really changed my life 100%. 100%. I was not very spiritual, and I became, you know, after a few years, and I surrendered to the temple, I became a brahmachari. Brahmachari is like a monk, full-time dedicated monk living in the monastery. So I became a monk. I lived in the monastery for about 4.5 years, doing all kinds of spiritual activities and service. The things that the Western and modern culture offer us as means for attaining happiness, they don't really give us the happiness that we want. So we're always looking for that. So, you know, I would tell somebody who is looking for that stop looking for that kind of happiness in those activities. These material activities that are just going to give us a little bit of happiness and then suffering. So there is another place where we can look, and that is into the spirituality. Get to know who you are, why you are here, all these questions, you know, if they're a God or not, what is my relation with Him. These are the things that actually are going to fill our hearts. And especially when you come to the understanding and the practicing, because there's a philosophy and then you come to practice chanting the holy name, then everything starts making sense, and then you can experience actually that there is another type of happiness that's going to last and is going to give full satisfaction to your heart. A deep Catholic Christian background, and there are some devotion activities that are really good. I'm not going to criticize them, but the thing is that it's a little superficial, because you don't go too much deep into the real questions of life. So even if you're following any other religion or philosophy, you know, the point is that we have to understand who we really are. We have to look for these answers, and if we don't find them in other scriptures, you know, that doesn't mean that they don't exist, because I mean, if we believe in God, it means God knows everything. So if He knows everything, our quest is, how can I get to that knowledge? Because I also, maybe I'm not going to be able to understand everything. Who I am, if I am here, how can I become eternally happy? So these things, they have to be there in somebody's heart who is really looking for, you know, answers. There's so many devotees who are also practicing. Devotees means persons who are practicing and these activities of devotion for the Lord and chanting, and you can see in them that this chanting has bring them to a very peaceful, very pure kind of life, you know. So this means that we can also do it. It's just a matter of how much we practice. So this keeps me going, especially because I am a musician. So this chanting, I play with different instruments. I actually teach this music dedicated to the Lord is called Kirtan. So I do Kirtan, I teach Kirtan, and actually Kirtan is what keeps me going. Hare Krishna.